Good morning, October 7th, 2024. A year ago today was the worst, horrific, barbaric day for the Jewish state of Israel since the Holocaust. A day that will go down in infamy. A day that we Jews and every lover of peace and humanity will never forget. A day when babies were burned alive while their parents watched shackled. A day when babies were put into ovens, when women were raped, when kids were killed in front of their begging parents and buried, and parents killed in front of their crying children. A day when we, the Jewish people, woke up like a lion, recognizing that although only 80 years from the Holocaust, the hate, the barbarism, the anti-Semitism, and the silence of the world is still there. Over the past year, we've realized more than ever that even our allies are wimps, are cowards, and are there momentarily. As we witnessed with French Macron, who just as the French did in World War II, waved the white flag and joined evil. A man who has taken $6 billion of investments from Qatar and was ready to sell the Jewish people just for that. But the Jewish people woke up. As Menachem Begin always said, better to have a bad press than a good eulogy. On October 7th and 8th, before we even went into Gaza, our haters from Australia to New York City were screaming, "Gaz the Jews." Yes, some of our Western allies were giving lip service or really felt bad for us. But only days later, they all deserted us. And over the last year, Israel has realized that we're fighting a war for the entire world alone, against 7 fronts. And the only people who actually understand what we're going through are those in the Middle East who are under oppression. Those Syrians and Lebanese and Saudis and UAE people who are celebrating the death of Nasrallah and realize that Israel is fighting the war for the entire civilization and for the whole world. Bret Stephens says the story that he once went to the CIA headquarters in Washington, and he saw us centrally displayed a huge sign that said, "Every day is September 12th," to remind the people that worked in the CIA the sense of urgency, the sense of need, the passion they need to have to fight and to figure out a way to stop terrorists from killing Americans. And Bret Stephens said, for every Jew, every school, every shul, every Jewish home, everyone who loves Israel or the Jewish people, there needs to be a sign in our home that says, every day is October 8th. Because on October 8th, the Jewish world woke up like never before. We roared like a lion. As Bilam the prophet says, although we crouch like a lioness. We wake up and we roar like a lion. On Simchas Torah, we read in the Torah that when God created the world, it was Va'aretz Hayta Tov Avo. The world was dark. That was October 7th. But what it says afterwards is V'ruach Elokim merachefes al pnei hamayim. The Spirit of God was hovering above it. That's the spirit of the Jewish people that woke up on October 8th. It is our obligation to be strong, to be proud, to be unflinching, and to celebrate and realize that Israel and our Prime Minister and our cabinet ministers are the Winston Churchills of the 20th century, fighting single-handedly to protect Western civilization. And it behooves us all to support Israel unequivocally and not to let the noise of the media and all the haters distract us. Imagine if you're playing in the playoffs now in a baseball field and there's 70,000 fans. Some hate you, some are throwing things at you, some are cursing you, but you know the prize. You have to win the game. to win the World Series. So too is what's happening now. We are on the field. Billions of people are watching us. Some are throwing things at us. Some hate us. Some want to kill us. Some are our fans. But we can never lose focus of the prize. And that is to eradicate fundamentalism in Islam from the world. To kill and to finish every Hamas member, every Hezbollah member, and then to hit the snake of the head, Iran. And to kill and destroy their nuclear plants and their nuclear capabilities and all their ballistic missiles. Don't be fooled. We're living in historic times. But we have the strength. The Jewish people are united. We have God with us. And never before have we seen us roar like we have this past year, with love, with kindness, with donations, with social media, with 150% of reservists showing up to Israel, with the most Googled, one of the most Googled words on October 7th was tickets to Israel, because we have shown up like never before, because we know this is our existence. On October 7th, in the morning, Ariel Zar, who lived in Kfar Aza, got up and went for a jog. While he was out jogging, the terrorists came in and killed his two sisters, Keshet and Tchelet, and his mother, Yasmin, and his father, Yaniv. All four of them were killed. When he was sitting Shiva, he's 12 years old, Ariel Zar. When he was sitting Shiva, they also killed his maternal grandfather. When he was sitting Shiva, together with his paternal grandparents, a Zaka member came to see him. And as he was comforting him, Zaka are those who rescue the bodies and protect the dignity of the Jews even after they die. Ariel turns to this man and he says, I'm celebrating my bar mitzvah in 10 days. My father bought me tefillin, but I have one request from you. I don't want to use those tefillin. I want my father's tefillin that were given to him by his grandparents, who were gifted it by his parents, by their parents, just before they were killed in the Holocaust. The Zaka member says, never did I get such a request, but how could I refuse it? But Kfar Aza, the whole south, was under military closed zone. It was not even a week after October 7th. But he finally got permission to go in for 5 minutes, and he ran into the house, and finally he found the tefillin and he grabbed it. He said he felt like when those paratroopers said, Har HaBayit B'Yadeinu, the Temple Mount is in our hands, and the 6-day war, that's how he felt. He grabbed a few pictures, an album, so Ariel could have a memory of his family. And he said, then I gave it to him. And Ariel, this young 12-year-old, said that it was the greatest gift he got. And the Zaka member says, I buried 700 people on October 7th. Never did I cry as much as this. A week later at his bar mitzvah, when he wrapped these tefillin, his grandfather, his father's father, who watched the whole family get killed, got up and spoke. He says, when I was 14, my parents were killed by the Nazis. But then I came and I built a family. He says, your whole family was destroyed by Hamas terrorists. But you too will grow up, get married, and build a Jewish family. That's the story of us. We've been persecuted and killed and murdered. Today on October 7th, like no other day do we remember it. But we will get up and we will build again, and we will be stronger, and we will win, and we will hold our heads high, and we will ignore the noise. Remember that every day is October 8th. And remember that one day your grandchildren will ask you, just as those grandchildren of those who lived through the Holocaust living in America asked their grandparents, where were you when Jews were being gassed? Our children and grandchildren will ask us, where were you when Jewish existence was at stake and when the only Jewish state was fighting for its survival? Let us make sure that the answer is that I was strong, I was proud, I was vocal, and I gave everything I could to the future of Jewish people. Netzach Yisrael Yishaker, the eternity of Israel doesn't lie, as the prophet says. and we will overcome, and we will win. But on this day, we cry and mourn a world that has ignored us. We cry and mourn a world that condones rapists and murderers and beheaders. And it only strengthens our conviction to fight for our people, for humanity, and for the future of Israel. God bless you, and have a great